Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich team might just be the scariest we've seen in a long while, and that's saying something.
Es ist auch ein ganz besonderer Tag aufgrund der Vorstellung von Vincent Kompany als neuer Cheftrainer von Bayern München. Herzlich willkommen, Vincent. An der Seite von Vorstandsvorsitzender Jan-Christian Dresen und natürlich Max Eberl, der Sportvorstand.
When Bayern made the appointment, a lot of people looked down on it.
He did a great press conference today, but he is the sixth choice at Bayern Munich. They tried 5 coaches before him. There is nothing in Vincent Kompany's football career as a coach that I see that tells me that this is the right man for Bayern Munich.
They even labelled it as the wrong appointment. But so far, to a large extent, Vincent Kompany has been proving his doubters wrong. A string of impressive performances, big scorelines, and the major one, they're back on top of the Bundesliga. So, when it gets down to it, how is Kompany getting the best out of the Bayern team? What tactics is he using? And how has he improved the players he met in the team? It's safe to say Vincent Kompany has introduced fresh and innovative ideas to this current Bayern team. But to understand this, we've got to go back a bit to what Bayern was last season. Under Thomas Tuchel, they were conservative at best. They played a rigid tactical approach that didn't seem to get the best out of the players. And in the big games, the ones they used to dominate in, Bayern fell off. Team failing to win the Bundesliga for the first time in 11 years. It gets worse. Bayern failed to win a single trophy last season, despite signing Harry Kane, who scored the most goals in Europe's top 5 leagues. On Vincent Kompany's part, his ideas offered a bright approach at Burnley in the Premier League, but ultimately they couldn't cope, and as a result, they got relegated to the Championship. Because of this, when the decision was made to appoint Kompany, it seemed like a joke to many, because the big talking point here was how Bayern was deciding to take a chance on a guy who'd been relegated to the Championship. Back to the present day though, and Vincent Kompany is answering his critics as they come. On paper, it looks like the same information Thomas Tuchel used at Bayern, the 4-2-3-1, because that's what Vincent Kompany had largely employed in his time at the club. But the difference is how he wants them to play. Being the former student of Pep Guardiola, having played under the man, Kompany has ideas based around a professional approach to the game. This doesn't mean he wants the team to just keep ball, but for him, it's about building triangles and multiple passing lanes where they can link up with each other as quickly as possible. In that 4-2-3-1 shape, the back four consists of 2 centre-backs and 2 full-backs, who will invert to give as many passing opportunities in the middle as possible. The midfield features a pivot, and we'll get to how Kompany has managed to get the most out of a teenage sensation in that position. But it's going forward where Kompany makes this Bayern team look interesting. That 4 in attack, it's a number 10 operating behind the main striker, while 2 wingers hold the width out wide. It's one thing to have the tactics right, but it's another thing to have the personnel to execute it. And in this area, Vincent Kompany is blessed. He's gone with a back of 4, largely Kim Min-jae and Dayot Upamecano this season. Being a defender himself, you can tell Vincent Kompany is very keen on impacting this Bayern team with the experience he's picked up over the years.
Sage nochmal, also ich verteidige. I'm defending now against the winger. The moment comes to my line, I have to be sure that I'm on the line of the defender, or he has to, so that he is offside, or I have to adapt. Play to him. I go and I can be aggressive. So manage that distance so you can always be aggressive, boys.
When you've got a manager who doesn't just know the game, but who also played it professionally, well, that's a big plus. It certainly is for the Bayern team and Vincent Kompany. Look at him hype up Kim Min-jae. We're talking about a player who last season many believed was done at Bayern despite having just spent a season at the club.
I tell you who else needs to go back to their lane. Oh, Kim, the defender.
Yeah.
After his mistakes in the Championship League game versus Madrid, all the negative focus was on him. But with Vincent Kompany, it's about improving his players and getting the best out of them. As stated earlier, the fullbacks, more often than either Rafael Guerreiro at the right back and Alphonso Davies at the left back, will come in and also advance high up with the team as well. The idea is to push up and control the game from the opposition's half, play the ball in their box, and give them very little in terms of breaking room. Midfield, it's proper, because under Vincent Kompany, we're seeing the best of this gem. Alexander Pavlovic, at just 20 years old, he's already got his manager, signaling him as one to watch in the future.
With Pavlo, it's I'm always careful to say young player because for having been in that position myself. When you're a young player, you don't want to be called a young player, you know, because you're competing with everybody else and you want to be judged on merit. But he's definitely a player that is making progress every day and that has great potential. We spoke about Jamal Musiala and what he represents for Germany. You know, he's one of those German players that will be really important in the future for the country. But the biggest thing for me is to stay close to every performance, every training session, and you know, positively encourage him to bring the best he can do. In the end, the luxury we have to work for a club like Bayern München, is that we keep seeing those talents and working with those talents. So it's a very exciting squad to work with, and he's one of those players that makes it exciting, of course.
Doesn't even regard him as a young player already. Under Kompany, Pavlovic is reaching new heights with his game. We'll get to the data soon. But first, if you'd love to see more quality videos like this from Kick with Seb, then hit that subscribe button to the channel so you never miss out on the action. Right, back to Pavlovic now. And if we look at his data from this season, he's ranking in the 97th percentile for progressive passes, 92nd percentile for forward passes, and forward passing accuracy. Putting up numbers this high and still only 20 feels unreal. One thing we've seen about Vincent Kompany so far is that he tries to make the players feel natural. By this, it means that Vincent Kompany wants to play the players in their natural positions, meaning that Joshua Kimmich gets to sit in the midfield position with Pavlovic, and together that duo looks just as potent. Joshua Kimmich is now a man reborn under Kompany. He's played almost every minute this season, and in the metric, both offensive and defensive aspects of play. Kimmich has been one of the team's standout performers. Offensively, Bayern Munich have been more than impressive this season. They began their UEFA Champions League campaign with a 9-2 trashing of Dinamo Zagreb. 9 goals. The truth is, on the night, could have been more.
Yeah, absolutely has. Tell you what, the dream continues for Harry Kane, doesn't it? We've got Mark McAdam here because we saw it earlier on. Goodness me, scoring 4 goals for Bayern last night. They won 9-2 against Dinamo Zagreb in their first game of the Champions League campaign. And I guess it's more records for him as well, isn't it?
Harry Kane scored 4.
You know, I've heard a lot of great things, not just from a manager point of view, but just from a personal point of view when he was at City as a captain, as a leader. So yeah, obviously I've only been here a couple of days, but I love the energy that he's brought to the building.
When asked about Kompany, when the Belgian was initially appointed, Kane was full of optimism, and it's safe to say that all of that is paying off. In this new setup under Kompany, Harry Kane had taken a new role. By this, it means he's just like every other attacking player in the team, defends from the front. It means he's pushing up to help close spaces, cover opposition centre-backs, and while at it, still remains at the clinical edge of his game. It's the same for a player like Jamal Musiala.
But Musiala this season is...
We mentioned earlier on, 65-35. Bayern putting the shots in, and they've got...
At times, watching him is just magical. In this season under Vincent Kompany, you can tell he's already improving his game. Not just his touches in tight spaces, but his understanding and awareness of his teammates around him have been improved. In that number 10 role, it'll be easy to say that Musiala drifts around and is only focused on the attacking phase of the game. But he puts in a defensive shift from the front as well. It will be impossible to mention player development at this club without mentioning this guy.
Impressionante de facto é do caso de Marino.
Atenção, Alice a tricotar, a levar tudo à frente, o remate e marca! Alice a construir a sua própria Via Verde no tapete mágico da Veltins Arena e a colocar o Bayern a vencer por
Mikael Olise is a baller's baller. Under Vincent Kompany this season, Olise has been a standout. He's one of the best performers in the team, scoring goals like the one we've just highlighted above and being an all-round threat to the opposition. We know Olise has talent, but what he's putting out at Bayern, the signs of a player who could really take his game to the next level in the coming years. In all, Vincent Kompany is a man who's got a proper vision for the Bayern team.
It just feels right. It just feels right seeing him at Bayern Munich. A few questions, obviously. Eyebrows are raised. A man relegated from the Premier League with Burnley. Didn't do very well as a team in terms of points. But what I know about Vincent Kompany is he's an incredible leader. And he is willing to work so hard. He's not just resting on the fact that he's Vincent Kompany, that he's got so many Premier League trophies. He works so hard and he pushes his team. He pushed that Burnley team to the Premier League. And you know what? He believed in what he was doing, and he went on his sword. He really did. The team probably weren't good enough to do what he needed to do, but that's just because it was the Premier League, not because they weren't a good team or he wasn't a good manager. That Premier League is so hard to crack. Eyebrows raised, bit of a transition period for Bayern Munich, but when I saw Vinny getting linked with the job, it just felt right.
As Joe Hart pointed out, it just feels right to see Kompany in the Bayern dugout. He's got them on top of the Bundesliga and competing in the Championship League, the two main competitions which would have been the top of the agenda for the Bavarian Giants. In terms of the results, some of them have brought expectations down to earth a bit, like the 4-1 defeat of Barcelona, for example. Kompany wasn't critical of his team and instead praised the opposition and moved on.
Top team in Europe, I think it's no surprise, and they're the games that we want to win. They're the games that we want to show the best version of Bayern München in. And yeah, today, congratulations to Barcelona for the win, and for us, we have to learn from this game to continue in the Bundesliga to be the best team we can be and then come back in the Champions League. And
now the point with this, watching that defeat to Barcelona, you realize it could so easily have been different if Bayern had been more clinical. Barcelona was just efficient, and that's it. On the whole, this is a guy who's just loving the experience of coaching one of the biggest teams in the world.
I'm born in Brussels, yeah? Northern quarter in Brussels. My dad was a refugee, came from Congo to Belgium. What were my chances of ever setting a foot even in the Premier League, playing in the Premier League, winning something as a player, playing for the national team and so on? If you take the odds and the chances that it was for me to happen, 0.00 what percent, you know? And now I'm a coach. The question is, do you just stop believing? Do you stop believing in yourself because of what other people say? Do you stop believing in what you can achieve because, you know what, there's a very small chance? The mentality is to continue to go, and in the end, if you fail, you fail. If you succeed, but you become better every single time. That's so important. And the question is irrelevant in terms of the direction of the fact that because online you can always find stuff, so I really don't take it any personal, never.
You hear him speak about the experience here and you realize he's living a dream. Even he wouldn't have fancied himself to make it pro. And not only did he win big, he's now coaching one of Europe's most successful clubs. Vincent Kompany is on a journey to prove his doubters wrong. And so far, he's been on an impressive path.
I know there's always pressure in Bayern Munich, but I think we were very calm. I think that we're on a positive trend. We're scoring a lot of goals today, a little bit less, but we're having a lot of clean sheets as well at the moment. So yeah, we were patient against a tough opponent, and I think it's a really good win, so we're very happy with that.
Just like he said in the press conference, and his demeanor in general, he's very calm. Vincent Kompany understands the position he's in, and he knows that due to the nature of his job and a team such as Bayern, one bad result could get magnified, like the 4-1 defeat of Barcelona or the 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa in the Champions League. But he isn't going to let this affect the plans he's got for his team this season. Instead, it's about taking each game as it comes and trying to make the most of the season. It will be very interesting to see where Bayern will end up with Kompany this season. There's every reason to believe he could be the guy who hands Harry Kane his first career trophy, the guy who restarts the Bayern cycle of dominance after Leverkusen ended it in the last campaign. You wouldn't put it past him, a manager who's played the game and understands what it means to be a pro. But what do you think about Kompany? Is he too inexperienced to lead Bayern? Doesn't have a proper structure for the team? Takes too many risks? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks.